Check, 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 check. Check, check, check.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir. All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's tough. This is.
This white balance okay for you?
Is our color okay? He says it's fine. It is one that I've never witnessed before, Paul. Truly, it's sun's now setting. It's getting dark, and so it's hard to show you what this town looks like. Maybe you saw earlier some of our reports of the mass expanse of damage that we have here. But you can see, you know, it's mangled cars. It's trees that have been uprooted. They've been debarked. There's big pickups. I mean, there's a Ford F-250 that's upside down and on its roof, and it's just been crushed in. We know that there are many fatalities tonight in Joplin. In fact, I've unfortunately witnessed several of them. Many injuries in the town of Joplin tonight. The medical facility, the St. John Regional Medical Facility here, is taking all of its patients out. They cannot operate any longer. In fact, a member of our crew, one of our producers here, Mike Jenkins, has been trying to gather information from around the area, and want to show you a little bit of what he had to say earlier about what happened here in Joplin. Really telling stories. I'm sure you'll hear from Joplin throughout the next several days and the coming weeks. Obviously, there are medical personnel. We have seen dozens, literally dozens, of ambulances here this evening. You may be able to see some of their flashing lights off in the distance there. Firefighters are on the scene as well. There's no power in this part of Joplin. The medical facility, by the way, is not taking any patients whatsoever. Their patients, all their critical care patients, have been transferred to Freeman Hospital. Freeman's not taking any patients other than life-threatening injuries. If you do not have a life-threatening injury, they're asked that you go to a triage center that's been established at Memorial Hall. So we've got a lot more for you this evening on the devastating tornado that has struck here in Joplin, Missouri. Paul and Kelly, it's one that we were chasing. We were just literally minutes behind it. Very thankful that we were not in front of this one. You know, we stopped to watch some hail, and that may have actually saved our lives and saved us from being right in the path of this tornado. Thank you. Go ahead, Sean. Okay. All right, thank you. Hey, do you guys think we can go on the other side of the generator? We don't want to get up here. Are you want to go back farther? Or on that side of that truck? Where do you want to go?
Why, it's too noisy.
Generator. Let's go on that side. See that fire truck? Hi, this is Mike Bettis. This is a microphone check. JK, can you hear me?
It's down at the intersection. See where the flashing lights are over there? That's where the triage is.
God got me out of this class. I was just released out of this hospital 2 hours ago. Before it hit.
Okay, thank you.
Shadow.
they tossing to me? Thank you. Less than a minute, probably. Do we have enough gas and everything? Doing okay on gas? Good on gas? Fuel? Are we doing okay on fuel? Are we doing okay on fuel? Okay. Mike, where do you think we might stay tonight? This is a really big truck. That is an F-250, a four-door truck. The roof is crushed. Stand by. That's good. Okay.
Any more storms coming?
No. You know, actually, Kelly, it's just so sad. I mean, we can actually hear people off in the distance. It's dark now, but we can hear people calling out, you know, for their neighbors or their friends or, you know, their family members that they just cannot find right now. And now that it's dark, it's a very difficult task to find anybody that remains in the debris because there's no electricity. We can operate here. We're operating on generator power with some lights here, but it's really a tragic scene. You know, so many people have been devastated by this tornado that just happened at a moment's notice. We were actually watching this tornado just over the border in Kansas. And at the time, we didn't think that it was actually all that strong. Just after it passed us and we watched some hail, it developed into a large multi-vortex tornado that has wiped out a good portion of the town of Joplin. There are some, the radar, I think, is a really telling story because the storm kind of was an individual storm that developed on the south line of a complex and then made a bit of a right turn. We always talk about right-turning thunderstorms. Those are the ones that tend to be the most dangerous because they tend to cycle and rotate in a counterclockwise fashion and pull that parent thunderstorm off to the right. That's what this one did, and it was a tragic consequence here in Joplin. We know that there are fatalities this evening. I want to pass along some information. It's coming in bits and pieces, but at 26th in Jackson, there's a nursing home there, a nursing home that has been severely damaged, and they are requesting blankets and medical supplies because they are in the middle of a search and rescue operation at that nursing facility right now. So I wanted to pass that information along, but also some good stories coming out of this as well. And I know it's just hours into it, but we're actually watching some gentlemen actually pull a small little dog out of a house that had basically been flattened. The dog looked like it was in shock, but it looked to be okay. Dirty, maybe, you know, maybe just a little, no worse for wear, but you know, there are going to be, we know, some stories that come out of here that are not going to have those type of results, unfortunately. When you look at stuff like this, I mean, large pickup trucks like the one behind me here that's just mangled. That's a big truck, and you can see how it's just flattened all the way down to the door here. You know, if you're in something like that vehicle, you don't stand much chance with a tornado of this magnitude. So again, the situation just unfolding this evening. We're going to stay on top of it for you throughout the evening. I want to bring in a gentleman that I actually talked to a little bit earlier. Come on over, sir. Did you end up finding? We talked to you earlier. You were looking for your neighbor. Did you find him?
We haven't found Larry yet.
You're still looking for him though. You're holding out hope.
Yeah, we're holding out hope, but the house is just pretty much is flattened.
All right. Well,
and he's 73 years old, and we're hoping it's getting dark now. And if he tried to make a run up to the house that I ran for to get in the basement, then, you know.
Well, hopefully, best of luck to you.
Yeah.
I mean,
everybody's accounted for on our block.
Everyone's accounted for on the block. Okay.
Except for Larry.
Thank you for the information. We're going to do our best to help him out here this evening, but obviously, very, very tragic scene tonight in Joplin, Missouri.
How's it going? Good, how are you?
Doing very well. How you been?
So, hell on earth, man. Crazy, dude. Pictures? Crazy news. See it on TV, you know. Down south, is there any more storms down south towards in Oklahoma? I gotta be honest, I don't know. That's where we're from. We was coming through and we got stuck here. So we've been carrying people down. Get out of my phone. We were watching it when you first got here, right as it happened. We've been carrying patients down for almost 4 hours.
Out of the hospital? How they doing in there?
We've got everybody clear.
Is everyone out? Are they still, all the patients are out now?
We got the last patient. We carried the first patient.
Now, where do you guys come from?
We're from, we come from Missouri, so we're from Oklahoma.
Okay.
We was traveling.
Now, what do you guys, you're just driving through?
Yeah. We're from Carson.
Okay.
Okay. We were driving through, the storm was coming through, so we got stopped up by the mall.
How did you know that anything was even going on?
Radio.
Hey, I have a couple of guys here that have actually been pulling patients out of the hospital and taking them out of the hospital. I'm going to talk to them. Is that cool? All right. So are you guys done for the evening thing?
We're trying to find out if
As far as in the hospital goes, they're kind of start pushing people out now and doing their own thing.
we actually pulled 2 people out of this.
Yeah.
Do you have a lighter hat? Your head's getting lost in the night.
No, I can push it back a little bit and give you some more forehand if you want.
What it was, does it look like you stopped here?
Here's what the inside of the looking up this 5th floor, 7th floor, something.
Okay, they're not going to toss to me. I'm just going to you're just going to start with that, and I start. All right. All right, gentlemen, come on in.
Go ahead. Man, whatever. Sorry. I'm not. Sir.
Where are y'all from?
Carthage.
Carthage.
Us 3 are from
Carthage.
Jay, Oklahoma.
Jay, Oklahoma.
Clinton, Missouri.
Clinton, Missouri. Clinton, Missouri?
Yep.
You guys just passing through.
I was actually riding with them.
We were listening to the news and heard they needed help, so we came over.
Very,
think
very nice.
when we pulled up and seen all the destruction, I mean, we just jumped out and come right to the hospital. I
We
knew they
parked and
needed help.
we walked down here.
Tragedy unfolding in the southwest Missouri town of Joplin tonight as a very large, deadly tornado has torn through the town. At least a mile-wide path of damage that extends for miles. Search and rescue ongoing this evening. Welcome back, everyone, to the Weather Channel's continuing coverage of the devastation here in Joplin, Missouri. Joining us this evening, some gentlemen that stopped by to say hello this evening. And gentlemen, you were in the hospital behind us here that was hit very, very hard by the tornado. You're from neighboring Carthage. You were in there actually pulling people out of the hospital.
Actually, we got there, they had all the people out. What we did is we were in the emergency room actually pulling out the supplies because they're moving a bunch of them over to Freeman's and over to someplace in Joplin, Memorial Hall. So we helped them get a bunch of their supplies out. They've already had all the people cleared.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
No, I've never seen anything like this. It's surreal.
You, some other gentlemen here were actually literally, said you were just passing through, you heard about it on the radio, you decided you'd stop and help.
Yeah, we just seen the destruction, so we stopped, we parked, we walked down here, just walked in the hospital. We've been carrying people down from the 7th floor, 6th floor, packing them in the back of pickup trucks, taking them over to Freeman, coming back, going right back up, coming right back down.
And you said you literally have been doing this for hours now.
Yeah, it was daylight when we started. I can't even tell you what time.
When you look at what has happened here, I mean, does even hitting you yet?
It don't even feel real, not at all.
And
not at all.
You guys were telling me that even in some instances, you've seen things you haven't wanted to see.
Right.
Yeah, we down here they had a theater and they had a play in it this evening, and we had to dig through there and actually did have a couple dead in there.
I think you guys, thank you very, very much. You're doing a wonderful job tonight. I'm sure that the people of Joplin are very, very thankful for having you here. I know they are, in fact, and it's people like these gentlemen that are having a real impact on their community here when you see what is unfolded here this evening. Now that the sun has set, there's no more light. There's no power here in Joplin either. It's going to be a very difficult task overnight tonight for search and rescue to get into some of these neighborhoods and try to find people that may be trapped within the debris and within the rubble. The Memorial Hospital is going to be the area for triage because the hospital that's behind us here, St. John Regional, is non-operational right now. They've taken all the patients out, all the critical care patients. They've taken over to Freeman. Memorial Hall is where the triage unit has been set up now for non-life-threatening injuries. They are requesting as much help as they can here in Joplin. The state of Missouri has promised that they will get aid here as soon as possible. We at the Weather Channel chase these kind of things. Dr. Forbes is back at the Weather Channel this evening. He was out on the chase with us yesterday. Dr. Forbes, when we do stuff like tornado chasing, we know in our minds that this can happen, but I don't think we ever realize it can until we witness this with our own eyes, and this is, I think, hitting us all very, very hard this evening. Sean?